welcome to the Fans Village here at Alexandra Palace for the William Hill World Darts Championship. Why did we do that again? No, let's not. Let's not. We've had enough of that. But this is a magical night, which will see the start of the fourth round, the last 16 of the biggest tournament in World Darts. We've got one more game in the third round to come. I'm Dan Dawson. This is Jamie Banks. We're going to talk you through everything you've got coming up tonight. We're going to look back at what happened this afternoon as the third round continued. We'll be playing the greatest game in the world, Play Your Cards, Peter, right?
Very good.
With my own version of Debbie McGee, like a bearded Debbie McGee. Jamie Banks will be helping me through that.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I know, I realise that. However, we've had so much stuff in the first 11 days of the tournament prior to today, before the Christmas break. Massive names going out of this tournament. We still have the big three chasing the title here. Van Gerwen, Anderson and Rob Cross, the defending champion. However, there have been shock after shock after shock so far. This is the story of the William Hill World Championship 2019 thus far.
This is the World Championship. This is the biggie. This is the one that counts. The world champion, Rob Cross. That is brilliant. He is on the march again.
Michael Van Gerwen shrugs off the walkway shenanigans. The disgraceful scenes we saw before the match now replaced by Van Gerwen's brilliance. This is the match that we've all been looking forward to seeing.
What a shot to take the first set.
What a battle it was, but in the end the young Dutchman has done just enough.
Yes, she loves it.
That's pretty ruthless.
That is the match. Ryan Joyce wraps up the comfortable win. We've had a bold blow.
Oh, it's a wasp. I tell you what, that was a nice little duck and dive there from Lewis.
How would you describe that move?
Waspish.
Come on, Russ, go up his shoulder, man.
Tony Alcinas has just pulled off a famous victory. Peter Snakebite Bright is going home. Darius Labanowskis causes a stunning upset. Raymond van Barneveld is out. Only 3 players in the top 8 in the world left in the tournament.
Great start. 25.
Leaves the ball. Used it as a marker. Exhibition shot.
There's an opportunity for 170. Bullseye. What a dart from Brendan Dolan.
An absolute blitz from the green machine as he leaves the ball. And there it is. The inevitable Michael Van Gerwen. Big fish outshot. What a game! What a win! Gary Anderson escapes! He stared into the darting abyss but came out smiling. We blooming well love the darts! Darts!
Sky Sports darts montages are the only thing that makes my life worth living, quite frankly. That is spectacular. Now, we've had 3 more games this afternoon that weren't featured on that. And one of the stories of this World Championship, or indeed any World Championship, is Devon Peterson, the South African #1, who quite frankly has barely won a game for 2 years, and yet he's gone and knocked out Steve West, the highest ranked player in that section of the draw, that quarter of the draw. This is incredible from Devon, isn't it?
Devon, who's barely averaged over 90 all year. Devon, who barely hit a score in the first 2 sets against Ian White. Devon, who barely hit the board in the first set against Steve West. Out of nowhere, pulled it back and played absolutely brilliantly. Everyone loves Devon Peterson. He's playing very well, and I think he told you he's going to win it.
He genuinely thinks he's going to win it. He told me last year that within 4 or 5 years, Devon Peterson would be world champion. Devon Peterson talks about Devon Peterson in the third person more than anybody I've ever come across. But he did it, and it actually might happen. That's the really strange
He's in
thing.
the right part,
well, look,
as they call it.
As we call it, yeah. Look, the next game, one of the fancied players, he was unseeded, Dimitri van den Berg, but he pushed the world champion, the eventual world champion, very close last year. It was only Rob Cross who beat him. A lot of people fancied him to set up a rematch with Voltage, and he just got done by a fellow product of the development tour, Luke Humphries, who was just far more clinical.
Far, far more clinical, and I know a lot of people are massive fans of Luke Humphries, and he's showing off what talent he does have. It's a shame for Dimitri because, as you said last year, he did so well, and people started speaking about him in terms of things like the Premier League and all the rest of it. Perhaps that kind of pressure got to him a little bit, but credit Luke, he was absolutely brilliant at the right moments.
Mark my words, Luke Humphries is one of the next big things in darts, particularly in English darts. Mark him. Final game of the afternoon session, penultimate one of the third round. And, well, it was another cracker, really, wasn't it?
I mean, plenty of crackers this year, haven't we? It's been, we were treated to another special game. Michael Smith, who, again, another one of those players who people are talking about as not even an outsider anymore, one of the favourites to win the event because he's in the right section of the draw, or the right half of the draw. John Henderson started very, very well, and it looked as if Michael Smith could go 2-0 down and start to struggle, but Michael Smith fought back very, very well and show what class he has. Michael Smith really is a massive threat in this event.
Look, he underlined his credentials as a third favourite for this title prior to the start of today. Went behind twice to Big Hendo and pulled out some world-class stuff. That fourth set, he averaged 118. He won it in 39 darts. It was world-class. They're the darts that can take you to titles.
He is world-class. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. He can win this tournament. People have spoken about Michael Smith for a long time now because of his ranking and the fact that he is in the other half to Gary and Michael. He may have to come across Rob Cross at some point, but look, who's to say the winner of this whole tournament doesn't come out of those two?
Right, we've still got one more third round game to come. It's going to feature Benito van der Pas. That's tonight. We're going to get to tonight's action in just a moment, but now we're going to play the greatest game of all time, yeah?
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
Right, the game is play your cards, Peter Wright. Have we got anybody who wants to play? Come on, you win a T-shirt. Win a T-shirt. Come on, who are we going for? Go and get somebody out of the crowd, Jack. Go on, get somebody out. Right, so play your cards, Peter Wright. It is very, very simple. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
James from Murfield, West Yorkshire.
Do you know how the game works?
Oh, yes.
Of course you do. You know.
Everyone
you
does.
know. Right, come and stand
Join
here,
us.
James. Banks, you're my Debbie McGee. Right.
I've always wanted to be that.
Yeah, right. You hold those. Right, stand just here. The game is very, very simple, right? Play your cards right, but with Peter right, yeah? So every card has got a PDC dart player in the top 64 on it. They have a world ranking. You have to guess if the card next is higher in the rankings towards Michael van Gerwen or lower in the rankings towards me and Jamie. What is your current PDC ranking, Jamie?
184.
That's significantly higher than it actually is. Right, do you understand the game?
Yes, I do, Dan.
Are you excited about potentially winning this T-shirt?
Oh, yes.
Are you even more excited if I say I'll throw in a foam finger?
Oh, that'll be even better.
Okay. Right, your first card is this. Raymond van Barneveld. We're going to give you that, right? That is your card. You hold that. Now, you can change that card if you so wish. Raymond van Barneveld is world rank number 17. Right, are you happy with that card?
No, I think I want to change it, please.
You want to change it. You want to change it. We're going to... Barney has gone. Not for the first time this tournament. It is Andrew Gilding, Goldfinger. Goldfinger ranked number 58 in the world. Are you happy with that card?
A bit better now, yeah.
Yeah, well, tough. I mean, you're sticking by that. You can't change it anymore. So is the next card going to be higher in the world rankings towards MVG or lower in the world rankings towards him?
I think we better go higher, I think.
He's going higher than Goldfinger. It is higher than Goldfinger. It's Michael van Gerwen. Listen to the reaction. This is the greatest game in the world. World number one. There's only one place you can go from here, surely, Jamie.
Lower, I think.
Lower in the world rankings than world number one, Michael van Gerwen. It has to be, unless it is God himself. What is the card? It is the Bullet, Stephen Bunting, world rank number 18. Good answer. Good answer. Now, this is a tricky one. Are we going higher in the world rankings than world number 18, Stephen Bunting, or lower in the world rankings?
Yeah. All right, let's go lower. We'll go lower.
Peer pressure has spoken. Were you right to listen to these people? Were you? Lower than Stephen Bunting, you say? Oh, it's higher! It's Peter Snakebite Wright! I'm sorry, that's the end of the game. Take your T-shirt. Take your foam finger. Get off my stage. Don't drop it. That's cost literally pence.
How many people got involved with that just there?
I told you, this is the greatest game in the world. We will be playing this more. You too can win stuff. Really expensive stuff.
Good stuff.
Shall we have a look at tonight?
Let's do it.
Right, okay. So, tonight's action, we've got one third-round game for you. Benito van der Pas, there he is, against Tony Elsinas. Now, Tony Elsinas is the unseeded player. Benito is number 30 in the world, and yet the bookies have him as the favourite.
Because Benito has played so poorly this year, and he'll admit that by his own standards, he has not been good enough. Tony's played very well this event. I find this one really tough to call. I think this one could go very, very long. It's a tricky one again. I keep talking about this, but being in the right part of the draw, the pressure is on for these people because they could all of a sudden find themselves in quarterfinals without even realising it. So this is going to go long for me.
This tournament has saved Devon Peterson's career.
It has, yeah.
It could rejuvenate that man's career. Then we are straight into the last 16,
go.
and look at this. The two favourites for the title. We'll go with the Flying Scotsman. Have you got any Gary Anderson fans here? People here specifically to see Ando. Yeah, Gary Anderson. There we go. They know his name as well. Yesterday we had fans who thought he was called Barry Anderson. But Gary versus Chris Dobey, the Sorcerer versus the Apprentice.
Do we have a bit of maybe Adrian Lewis, Phil Taylor style thing here where the
Yes,
Sorcerer
we do.
and the
Yes.
Apprentice... Chris Dobey's respect for Gary Anderson. I'm asking you a question this time. Do you think that will affect Chris Dobey?
No.
Because he okay.
Any more?
No, that's it. I've got no more questions.
These two have met on TV before, World Series finals last year. He won it 6-1. Dobey had darts to win almost every single leg. He is raring to have a go at him.
No doubt about it. Chris
And
Dobey
he
is a
played-
proper player.
He played better than Gary in the last round.
But Gary Anderson is the better player. So it's look, Gary Anderson's the favourite for a reason.
He is.
But who wins it? I'm not allowed to say.
No, you're not allowed to
PDC.
say, but what about this? 4 world titles between them. Adrian Jackpot Lewis, Michael Van Gerwen, the tournament favourite. That could be fireworks.
Should be the match of the tournament so far. Adrian has been telling everyone that he's playing better, he's feeling more confident. He has nothing to lose in this game. He's playing the world number 1, he's playing the best player in the world. That really should be so good, Dan. And what a way to end the night.
Look, that's what you've got this evening. This man a couple of years ago was the next big thing in darts. He may yet go on to be the next big thing in darts. Spain's number 2, already knocked out the world number 3 here. This man is on the up and up and up. He's made 3 finals and has been touching distance. He averaged 110 against Michael Van Gerwen in a Pro Tour final earlier this year. Gary Anderson, Michael Van Gerwen, Adrian Lewis, 3 double world champions
what
on
a session
the way.
they've picked.
Not a bad session if you've got tickets for tonight. Right, let's have a look at some odds. Hit me with odds. Come on. There we go. Gary Anderson to win 4-0. I don't think that happens.
2-1 says it's not the furthest of the outside shots we have tonight, but I think you're right. I think that one's probably got a few more extra sets in it, just the 4.
The thing is, though, Gary Anderson has not made a big statement yet. He was good in his first round.
I was about to say, I think you're right. I think he does need to make a statement, but I'm not sure whether Chris Dobey is the man he's going to do it against. He'll play well, I have no doubt about it, but there is a lot of respect between the two. Whether Gary Anderson brings the A-star game, I don't know. We'll find out.
We will find out. What more have you got for us? 9-1, 9-dot finish in this session. We've already been through it. 3 double world champions on the way today. If you're going to see a 9-darter, this is a very likely session in which to see it.
This seems like the one. 9-1 seems like a great price. We've got some great players on tonight. Why not?
Adrian Lewis, of course, a man who's hit 9-darters on this stage before. Hit them in the Premier League on a regular basis. And Michael Van Gerwen nearly hit 2 in 2 legs here, of course. Next, come on, show me more. 9-dart finish in the Van Gerwen Lewis. Well, again, if you're going to pick a game, if you're going to pick a game, men who've hit 9-darters on that stage before, both going head-to-head. And if it does go close...
It'd be great to see Adrian Lewis back to his best as well. And a 9-dart leg, what a way to state that you're back.
Okay, any more? We got one more, I reckon. 170 checkout in this set. Right,
Yes.
I think that is enormous odds. Michael Van Gerwen, I would put money on Michael Van Gerwen leaving 170 at least 5 times.
455 times.
Possibly every single leg. And at some point he is going to hit it. But that's not, look about Dobey. And if these games
Big
are good,
scorers in these games.
Yeah, well, look, Dobey and Adrian Lewis, if they're chasing in these games, they may be forced to go for this. None of this laying up just in single 18 or single 10. They are going to have to go for these, and they're good enough to take them out.
Yes.
He agrees. Look, that is your menu. We've got 1 third-round match for you. Benito van der Pas will be looking to make it through in that incredibly wide open section against Tony Elsinas, who's already taken out Peter Snakebite Wright. Gary Anderson, Chris Dobie, the Master versus the Apprentice, and then 2 double world champions, Michael van Gerwen versus Adrian Jackpot Lewis. It does not get much better. Enjoy.
Back to the studio.